Welcome to the Becoming Eva podcast, where we discuss real-life issues from a woman's perspective.
Becoming Eva seeks to break the silence within the female community while fostering authenticity, transparency, and healing.
We're your hosts, Latoya Moore
and Maya Dawson.
Let's get started.
Happy Saturday! Happy Saturday! Wow, y'all. Y'all see? We got some special guests in the building. Like, ever since we started promoting, like, hey, our love story journey continues with the grants, everybody's like, oh, like. They want all the deets, y'all. They want all the deets. We about to get into business. So, y'all know we've had the amazing Alfie grant in the building, in the studio with us before. And it seems like, honestly, throughout our love story series, the Ricks mentioned you. Me and Chris mentioned you. The Moores, you're gonna hear from them. I'm sure they're gonna mention you. And this is our first time having you in the studio. So welcome, Sean.
I'm so proud of you guys.
Oh, thank you. Oh, okay. Don't make me cry. So, all right, but we'll go ahead and officially introduce them.
I have the pleasure of introducing this wonderful couple, just in case you don't know who they are. So Alfie Grant and Sean Grant's story began with a brief passing encounter at Georgia Tech. Shout out to Georgia Tech. What did you say?
No one shouts us out.
Oh, you're grateful for the shout out.
Yes. God then orchestrated their meeting once again at Destiny Metropolitan Worship Church. Years later, they reconnected via Facebook, and in 2012, they sealed their bond in marriage, establishing a foundation built on faith and love. Together, they embraced the thrill of discovery, venturing to new destinations as a family, and weaving creativity into their shared experiences. With an unwavering commitment to honoring God in every endeavor, they cherish their roles as devoted spouses and dedicated parents to Miss Noah Grant. So shout out to Noah.
Yes.
Placing family above all else. Their journey is a testament to a transformative power of faith and the enduring strength found in Christ. So welcome, Alfie and Sean.
I'm excited.
We're so excited to have you guys here. Thank you.
All right, so we're gonna start out with what had happened was, because y'all know we got some stories. I'm sure y'all got some stories too, though, just about how our paths have crossed over the years. Yeah. So we'll start with our introduction to you, and we'll take turns. So I'll start with how I met both of you, and then Toya will share how she came to know both of you. But I will say for me, and it's funny because we just celebrated a milestone birthday for you, Sean, and actually met you before I met your lovely wife. And gosh, I was thinking back and I was like, man, this cat was in college. This was Southern Poly. This was pre-Georgia Tech. And me and one of my friends from college, Amina Brown, shout out to Amina Brown Owen, we were in the Life Development Center at Destiny Metropolitan Worship Church, and we were talking about destinations. And we were like, gosh, this cat, he seems like really cool, you know? And I remember us walking you out to your car. You had the old and faithful, I think, was it a Toyota? Yeah. The white Toyota. And what did you call it?
Dirty Power.
And it's a family legacy, right? Because didn't it pass on to your sister and your brother, maybe? Yep. But yes, okay. So we walked you out to your car, and I remember looking in. I think you had the Jamaica flag in your car, but what stuck out to me most was the picture of your mom. You had the picture of your mom in your car, and I was like, wow. Like, to me, that was just a sign of like a good man, a good person. And so just to see you like literally grow, not only as an artist, amazing artist, y'all, but as an amazing creative, you know, responsible for, of course, helping to build the Track Stars brand, but the Becoming Eva brand. That's why I'm so proud of y'all, because we are offshoot of Track Stars, you know, but seeing you grow in that regard, and then of course seeing you grow as a family, you know, we were at a gathering at a bowling alley and I was asking you how things were going on the dating scene, and you were like, I think I met somebody. And I was like, okay, cool. He's like, yeah, I met this girl named Alfie or whatever. We talking. And I was like, okay, cool. And Alfie popped up, and Alfie, I felt like we were never strangers. Alfie just rolled in like, hey girl, how you doing? And just got in my world, in my life. I was like, oh my gosh. So I thank God for you, and just it's been amazing seeing y'all grow together, and now with Noah. So that's my brief. Try to keep a brief story about what had happened was with the grants.
And for me,
I can't really talk about you.
what?
We got some stories on that one. Go ahead.
No, okay. For me, you guys know my husband is Ryan.
Yes.
Righteous of Track Stars.
Yes.
So I met Sean through Track Stars. Ryan spoke so highly about Sean, my best friend. That's my friend. That's my best friend. It was Sean. And it's still Sean. I call Sean his second wife.
His work wife. That's his work wife, y'all.
Like, geez, you talking with Sean. You're talking with Sean about everything. But so it's okay. I'm not jealous or anything.
You sure?
I did feel some type of way though at first. It was always Sean. What does Sean say? What does Sean think? That's fine. That's cool. But once I met Sean officially, I was like, oh wow, he's really smart. And he's a great influence on Ryan. He speaks words of affirmation and encouragement in ways that I cannot connect with Ryan when it comes to men speaking to other men. So I appreciate you, for being a support to Ryan and our family. And then of course I got connected with Alfie through Sean, and I think over time, after me and Ryan sealed the deal in our marriage, then I started getting closer to Alfie, and hanging out with our little friend group.
Yeah.
Because it's we're gonna be in this for life. You better like me.
Yeah.
I know I can be a tough pill to swallow at first until you get to know me.
Just a hard
I've
exterior.
heard over the many interviews. I'll let you guys give your perspective of me in just a moment, but that's what happened.
I love it. Okay, who wants to start here?
Can I start with Toya, please?
Go ahead.
So I was dating Sean, and I heard about Toya, about this woman Toya, because Ryan had met her and he was very excited about her. And so we went to an event to support Track Stars or FMG or something like that. And so I was sitting there, and Toya walked in, and I saw her, and I was like, she's obviously beautiful. And you sat down, and I looked over, and I was looking at you, but you kind of have this exterior of I don't want to say it looks like, don't play with me. I don't know if that's what the words were, but that's how you came off initially. But now that I know you much better, you're a very, very kind, thoughtful, sweet, loving, just a wonderful person. But yeah, your initial countenance is a little whoa. But everybody knows that you're great. So
Yes, we
I'm very, very thankful to have you in my life. And that's what I say about Ryan. When I met Ryan first, his warmth, his kindness, his goodness just emanates. I was just so happy that he's friends with Sean, because when you're dating somebody and you meet their friends, those are the people they're with when they're not with you, and you're kind of who are these people? So knowing that he's his best friend was a really huge comfort and a huge relief, because if this person's around him, that's a really good sign for me, because we're still dating, we're still figuring it out. But I do also remember that we were dating first, and y'all were going really fast. And I was like, I think
they were lapping people.
I think they would have lapped us. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, are you okay with that? And he was like, yeah. So you guys did lap us. So you guys got married in December, and we got married the next year. So it all worked out though.
I love it.
Yeah, really happy for you. Just same thing you said, that I met you at a party, but I had known you before because you were a leader at Destiny. And so I think I think because I'd seen you for so long, I thought I knew you, and so I did approach you as if we were besties.
Yeah.
I don't regret it at all. But yeah, you're a great person, and I'm happy to know you. I feel very blessed to have you in my life. Like, you're so creative, and I just want to thank you again for the amazing job you did for his birthday party. You and Chris are geniuses. So thank you.
Thank you. You're an amazing person too, Alfie. Sean chose well. He did.
So yeah, I met Maya first at Destiny, like she described. And I'll just say about Maya. Maya's been a person that I've always gone to for wisdom.
Aww.
You are one of the wisest people I know, and the way I've seen you handle events in your life, just giving me encouragement, and just knowing your husband, Chris, when he was going through his thing, and I'm like, obviously you're supposed to be. I thought it was obvious that he was supposed to be married to Maya. So, just seeing how that kind of evolved into you guys coming together as one, and just how powerful you guys are creatively. It was just, I saw all that.
Wow.
When he was tripping. So, so to me, seeing this now is just perfect. You guys are just doing so amazing. So I just want to thank you for everything. Like your view on life and the wisdom you gave me is still helping me to this day.
Wow.
So I really appreciate you.
Praise God. And thank you for being my husband's friend and intervening. Y'all have heard about the intervening when you felt God led to, help Dawsonville be born. Thank you.
Of course. And then when Toya came around, I was like, just listening to Ryan talk over and over again, it was like God crafted you for him specifically.
Yes.
It was amazing just seeing how you were able to deal with him and handle him. and because Ryan is very particular about things and he likes certain things. So the fact that you were able to kind of jive with him and just how much joy you brought him. He was so singular focused on certain things, but then when you came into his life, he just transformed, completely transformed, and he just became this loving husband, father person. He just brought it out of him. And so I appreciate you for who you are. You are truly made for my friend. I saw when you came into his life, it was all his prayers were answered. So thank you for being that.
Thank you.
Oh,
so sweet.
I love it. Well, take us away, Toya.
Yes.
I was started.
We all want to know how this love story started. First, I know you guys met at Georgia Tech, but we want to kind of get the backstory of how you really officially met outside of Facebook. How was it?
It's still under dispute. So
Oh, sure. Oh, thank you. So we did go to Georgia Tech together. He never ever spoke to me at Georgia Tech.
Oh my.
Georgia Tech we were minorities there, so we knew each other because we were minorities, but we didn't really have a conversation there. He worked at Destiny. He was doing Destination, so he says that he spoke to me then, but he was obviously promoting Destination to everybody, so I wasn't special or anything like that. So I don't accept that as anything. But, so I don't think it really happened until 2010 when LeBron James, came out and said he was taking his talents to South Beach, and I was very annoyed. And I just put a little post on Facebook, and I got a lot of backlash. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I got phone calls. I got texts. I mean, people were angry with me. And when I say I got literally cussed out, I couldn't believe it over a post. People. Anyway, so the point is, on the post, Sean didn't respond. He politely asked me, "What do you think?" I didn't put any kind of commentary. I just posted it. And I said, "Thank you for asking." And I put my little thoughts. And then he responded. He disagreed with me, but he did it politely. And so I did get into the DMs and say, I got to do it. And I said, "Thank you for being kind." And then I kind of started the whole conversation that led to a date. So in my eyes, I approached him. So, yeah.
Can I just ask real quick? Because I didn't know, first of all, are you a basketball fan like that?
I do like basketball. Like I mean, I have 3 brothers.
Uh-huh.
My dad played basketball in college, so basketball was like we used to go to games with the family. So
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't remember LeBron being a part of y'all story. That's why I was like, so were you for or against the Miami thing?
I don't like LeBron, and I don't.
Oh.
Sorry, guys. Oh, I'm throwing the
I'm sorry, we're gonna bring it back. I was just curious.
What's that? What now?
You don't like LeBron, so you were upset about him
just,
going.
Like the whole thing just felt like just dramatic.
Okay.
The decision.
Got it. Okay. I was like, this is new for me. Okay, but go ahead, Sean.
So yeah, so she claims I didn't do anything like that. All of those moments were like on purpose, like I saw her walking. She was walking from my dorm, and I said hi to her. That's the chance passing. So that I tried to connect with it. And then when I was promoting destinations,
you got okay.
When I was promoting destinations, like I went to go like on purpose, say, hey, I need you to come to destination.
Oh,
it's not like an accident.
Okay.
And then
this is Sean we're talking about here though, but go ahead.
And then the Facebook thing was like that was on purpose. Like I was like, what do you think? That was a conversation started on purpose. Now, after, I'm notorious for not knowing when people like me or thinking people like me. So I did have to talk to Ernest and Chris and Ryan, and they were trying to convince me. I think she does like you. So I did need some help there. But I was doing stuff.
I love it. And this is obviously why for the love story series, I was like, Toya, we got to interview our friends. Because like these are the people we do life with, but it's amazing to just hear how everybody's stories intersect and how everybody like kind of served as a support and encouragement for each other. I love this. This.
So how long did you two date before you proposed?
10 months.
Wow. You all talking about me.
Y'all were married in 10 months. Hey, we proposed in 10 months. It's a big difference.
6 months.
I mean, but I'm just saying, y'all gave us a hard time.
Saying.
Okay, so y'all dated for 10 months.
Yes. And then we were engaged for another 10. So almost 2 years. Compared to your 6 months.
Let me ask you, oh God, the shade, y'all. Clearly, you can tell we love each other. Y'all can tell. But I just want to ask, because y'all know, especially in the ministry that we came up in, it was big, and we said this in previous stories. Like it's important to see who you're dating over the span of a year, all 4 seasons. Seasons of the year, seasons of life, what have you. So 10 months, about 2 months shy of a year. But it sounds like y'all were like, sure, like let's do this. So what made you? And maybe it's more so for you, Sean, where you were like, all right, I'm not waiting 12 months. We're doing it 10 months. Like what for you was like, let's do it.
I think for me is everything that I've been praying for, and we went through this whole thing about making a list. Yeah, we used to be in the bookstore talking about things that you wanted. Me and Jeremiah and Ryan used to be talking about that. And what I was really looking for was somebody who loved God, that was set on pleasing God. That was compassionate and kind, and somebody that I felt like our families would mesh and get along. I never wanted any like strife between our families or anything like that. So that was what I was looking for. And then when you may want to tell that part, but I went to go visit her in Augusta and met her dad and her mom, and just seeing how sweet and kind and loving her family was. And I connected with her dad on like photography and just all kinds of things. And it was just like, okay, yeah, this is what like it was just obvious at that point that what God was asking me to be patient for and wait for was somebody that he had planned for me. And I remember back at Georgia Tech, and why that was so significant that I saw her was because right before that I was praying for my wife. Like in advance, I was like, God, please, I hope she's okay. I don't know where. Like I'm looking out my window in what's Hemphill? No, what's East West?
See 6th Street.
It was West something. But I was looking out the window towards the soccer field thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, God, wherever my wife is, I hope she's okay. And like she was like over there, And I didn't know that. She used to be the resident assistant for that dorm?
I was like facilities.
Facilities, yeah.
Oh, I was facilities. Sorry.
Okay.
So she actually.
You know,
But the
taking care
point
of
is, she was responsible for the building I was
Mm-hmm.
living in while I was praying for her, and I didn't know she was
Wow.
the wife I was praying for was right there. So it was just all those things come together and just realizing like this is who I was praying for.
Look at God.
I just want to add on that when he came to Augusta, so as I mentioned, I have 3 brothers and a sister.
Mhm.
I'm a big daddy's girl. My father, who I love dearly, I have tried to introduce him to
Mhm.
someone I've dated before, and he has literally ignored them, acting like they didn't exist.
Go ahead,
He
Daddy.
has just walked past them like they weren't standing there. And so I didn't know he was coming to Augusta the time that he came. And so I was honestly very anxious about it because I just wanted that first introduction to be successful. And I wanted them to bond. And he took it upon himself to come to Augusta and walk up to my dad and have a conversation. And my dad was receptive. Like he seemed happy talking to him. Like they were having a great conversation. And I was like, what? And like my mom, I love my mom, but she's not a hugger. Like she doesn't really do hugs. Not for people she didn't know. And so when I saw him with her, he walked up to her and she literally was like, she gave him a big hug. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what is happening right now? I couldn't understand it, but it's like they knew. It's like big. And so, I mean, of course, I already knew that and I don't know if we talked about this, but we have, but I've dated some frogs. And when I met him, the first date, I was like, this is it.
Wow.
I knew that. I mean, I felt like I didn't want to jump the gun. And I remember asking the Lord, like, is he the one? So now, so I was like, okay, I'm sorry, I told you I was gonna, take this slowly. But I knew, like, when you dealt with some bad ones for a while, when someone is true, when someone is real, when someone really is a good person. And he obviously loved the Lord. He obviously loved talking about the Lord. Our conversations about the Lord was just energizing, and that's the wrong word, but it really was just like I just felt very full after it. Like I felt like I want to keep having conversations with you. So there was no doubt in my mind that like this is the person.
Wow.
This is the thing.
Beautiful.
That's beautiful. Now I remember the proposal.
Yes, me too.
So I want you all, or Sean, to kind of tell the Becoming Eva audience about the proposal because it was beautiful.
We'll start with Sean, then we'll go with Alfie. Go ahead.
So I was trying to figure out. We had previously talked like, do you feel ready for that kind of thing? Should I, look for a ring? Like, so I already kind of knew she was open to it. But she didn't know anything about when or anything like that. So I started, I went and got her a ring and started planning like what I should do for it. And she's always had a dream of starting some sort of. She was really into hotels. Like she really loved the hotel industry, and she wanted to do something that was equivalent to like a homeless hotel because she really has a heart for the homeless. So I made like a hotel paper mache type model thing, and I kind of like made the top floor of it look like an apartment almost, and then put the ring in there.
Lord, some detail.
And I asked you and my sister. I wrote a song, so I didn't have a piano at the time, so I went to Guitar Center and I like made a song in Guitar Center, and then I taught it to you guys, and you guys. So basically, so I needed to figure out what kind of proposal does she want. Does she want to be us by ourselves? Does she want her family there? So I kind of picked her out a little bit. I took her to one of our favorite restaurants that doesn't exist anymore. And I kind of did like a tie my shoes situation.
Oh gosh.
and she was, the whole dinner she was kind of looking around.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, she wants her family to be here. Like she was looking for her family. So she was anticipating that. So I was like, okay, got her family needs to be there. So I drove to Augusta and I sat down with her dad and her mom and kind of asked for her hand in marriage. And I asked them, hey, I think it was like a week or two before the proposal, and I and I said, "Can you guys be there?" For it?
Mhm.
Right. So I took her to another place while you guys set it up with candles and stuff,
Mhm.
and brought her back to the house. And when she got back, it was my sister or you.
It was me because she was like, "How much?" Are you expecting me? Like,
So you guys were at my house and started singing the song. And as she came up, there was like candles and everybody was standing around. And then the hotel was in front of her, sat her down there, and then I proposed.
that's a beautiful,
So
meticulous too. The fact that you faked her out weeks in advance
I
to
just need to
see,
know like what was she expecting?
that's amazing.
Did you think when he was like, psych, I'm tying my
I know, right?
that's not, you thought you got a proposal
Hey,
coming.
hey,
Like,
girl.
did you think?
It made me angry. There was three fake outs.
Oh,
It wasn't like
no.
one or two. It was three.
Oh,
fake outs.
no.
The third fake out, I was done. I was like, this is enough. It's too much. I think it was
Just
happening
ask the
here.
question.
Yeah, so that was the day he proposed. But like he took me to a fountain. This whole
I was trying to stall because y'all were sending me messages like, "We're not ready yet. My car is." I was stalling.
and he was like, let's go home. And I was like, I see what you're doing, but it's not cool anymore.
It's not cool anymore.
Playing with my emotions.
It's way too much. So, but when we got to the house and like I feel like he waited in the garage for a little bit. So I did feel like something was going on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think we had to pause a little bit, but yeah, that was really rough.
That's funny. And actually, at you all's proposal, I think is when I officially met you, Toya. It was the infamous.
Where were
But
y'all
Toya.
in the 6 months?
That's real. Where were
Where
y'all in that
What do you
journey?
mean?
Like,
Like-
we were at the proposal. So
Yeah, I was there.
Like,
What
where
month
were
was
you?
it?
But
What month was the proposal?
I want to say it was August because I want to say it was around my grandpa's month of birth. So
I don't
I
remember.
think it was August. No,
So we were in
August or September. But go ahead.
we were in the planning of my wedding phase.
Okay.
You were already engaged.
We were already
Is the
engaged.
point we're trying to make here, which is the first time I met LaToya. It was like, oh, here's my fiance. That's the point we're trying to make here, y'all. Okay, well, go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
forgot about that.
That's funny.
I love it. I love it though. Okay, wow. So 10 months after dating is when you all got engaged, and it was another 10 months before you got married, right? So tell us a little bit about some steps that y'all were intentional about taking as you were preparing for marriage.
We actually did 3 different premarital
Oh,
counseling. I'm not really sure why all 3. One of them we had to do because I was in ministry. You definitely were in ministry at Destiny, so I know we had to do
Mhm.
premarital through Destiny, which was good.
Mhm.
We're still friends with some of the people that were in our class. The second one we did was through Buckhead Church.
okay.
And we really, really like Buckhead Church. Teaching there are so clear, so easy to
Yeah.
to grasp. So I think we just chose to do that one.
Mhm.
It was very thorough, and I think we said we liked that one maybe the most. To be
Mhm.
honest.
Mhm.
And then we had to do a third one through the church where we got married.
Oh, wow.
They required it.
Okay.
And they were all good in different ways. Like
Mhm.
the one that was required by the church actually got us to talk about certain things that we didn't talk about at the other ones. So I think they were all necessary.
That's good. Y'all 3 different premarital counseling sessions. That's amazing. Okay. Any other steps to preparation for marriage or primarily just
I
counseling?
mean, I had a lot of conversations with
Mhm.
family,
Mm.
just getting advice and
We
wisdom.
met with Ryan's sister and
Aw.
brother-in-law Edwin
Yeah,
and
that
Randy.
was
I
really
love
nice.
it.
That
We-
was
So
really
we
nice.
had like meetings with certain couples just to give us advice.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome. I love that advice for people. Good
Yeah.
stuff. You have anything else on how it started before we go into how it's going?
Let's transition into how it's
Mhm.
going. Okay, so we know all of the honeymoon phase and the butterflies of like the beautiful wedding, and then the marriage starts
Yes.
after all
It
of
gets
that.
real in them
It
streets.
gets real. It gets real. Life happens. First, let's start off with how did life change for you all after you got married?
well, we didn't live together before, right? So we
Mhm.
had to move in together and just kind of get used to being around each other all the time. And we went on trips. We started like going
Mhm.
places. So it was really just kind of like exploring stuff, you know, getting used to each other, exploring stuff, kind of learning how to, you know, deal with ups and downs in the marriage in the first year. But it was nothing notable.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty. It was the life I hoped for when as an adult. Like, I mean,
Beautiful.
we started to plan annual trips. Like our, of course, my anniversary for going out of town. But like, I really liked that. Like our honeymoon was in Costa Rica. I think our first year we went to Cancun, and then we went to Italy. So being able to like see the world and see like other places God has created that we don't see from from the US is really, really cool. Yeah, I really enjoyed that part of our marriage.
I love it. I love it. That's beautiful.
So we know life can bring about some challenges. What would you all say is your greatest challenge, or what was your greatest challenge, or is your greatest challenge since being married?
Sorry. After about 2.5 years, we decided, let's try to have a family. And so I would say around December of 2014, we started trying to get pregnant. And I really thought it was going to be just kind of a easy thing.
Yeah.
I'm one of 5. I'm the last of 5 children. My mom never had any issues with getting pregnant or staying pregnant. So I just kind of thought this, we're just gonna get pregnant and have a kid.
Yeah.
So we started trying in December. January, I got pregnant. But then on February 14th of 2015, we were at the studio and I started feeling really bad. It was like a bad that I hadn't felt before, and I was like, this isn't good. So I do remember going home and I started to miscarry. And it was very I can't describe it. It was just, very just sad, of course, but very just dramatic because like you can feel this child leaving you. And I just remember I just begged so much to the Lord. I was like, please, just begging and bargaining, like, please just, let this child live. But unfortunately, the child did not. And it was just a very, very hard thing. But we went to our obstetrician. We told him about, of course, they were kind of like, oh, that's normal. Of course, that happens a lot. But I'll just try again. And so we did try again. And we got pregnant again. And then we were pregnant in June. And then around our anniversary, I miscarried again. And I remember just thinking like, this is really hard.
Yeah.
Like, it's really, it's just really, I don't know how to say it. It's just, you just hope for this baby to be able to meet this baby. And feeling that child leaving your body is just really hard. It's like the closest thing to death because that baby's here and now they're not. And you're looking at these ultrasounds and there's no heartbeat. And it's just very confusing. It's very depressing. It's very it makes you very doubtful. I started to really feel like the Lord made me look upset with me or angry with me or punishing me for decisions I made in the past. And I just felt very confused and angry, to be honest. We did try again in the next year in 2016, and I had a third miscarriage. And at that point, I was like, okay, we gotta stop because I don't know what's happening, and I don't know. I was just like, I just felt like the Lord was just angry with me and just didn't want us to have a child again. So I don't know if I felt in that time, but what were you thinking for that time?
I think that's when it started getting stressful, just from us because I didn't know how to fix it. I was trying to fix it. And I'm also a lot more public than she is, so it was hard because I get stuff out by writing about it, doing spoken word about it, and then I'm very proud of her because this is the first time talking about this ever, and So during that time, I didn't want to, bring any attention to what she was going through because she didn't want to be vocal about it. So I felt like, I couldn't do anything. So after the third one, I asked her permission to at least kind of like code it, write about it in a way. And that's when I wrote the Abandoned song.
Yeah.
So it was just me kind of getting out the struggles I was having without it being obvious what I was talking about. So so that was hard. I think that's when it started getting hard between us, just because things were getting. We weren't happy because it was hard to be happy because they were always afraid. I was always afraid that something was going to happen again. I felt like I was dealing with it, but I didn't realize until I wrote the song that I wasn't doing so well. So I think that's what caused some. That's when we started having like issues,
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really difficult.
First of all, thank you both. I'm proud of you both because I know you are more of the public person as far as like your artistry, but still personally, you're a very private person as well, Sean. And I know you process a lot of things inwardly and internally. And so I'm thinking back to these years, 2014, 2015, 2016, and they're here, y'all, in the studio, engaging with us, being around everybody. And really, we had no idea that I had no idea they were going through all of this until much later down the line. And so like the process of that journey, as far as like you're going through this individually, but then also within your marriage. And then like you were saying, the strain that is starting to cause on your marriage as well. So can you talk a little bit about the steps that you all took to help process the trauma, the grief that you were experiencing personally, but then also what was kind of the turning point in your marriage?
Well, I would say in 2017 was we did our 5-year anniversary trip, and he planned this trip to Paris, which on paper sounds amazing. But I was angry and I was in a really bad place. And so we were literally in Paris, and I'm like, why are we here?
There's a picture of that. I love it.
I'm like, why are we here? What are we doing? What are we celebrating? I mean, we are in a really bad season right now. We're in a Job season. Like, this is bad. Like, we don't know when this is going to stop or if it's going to stop. We don't know, what our next step is. We had seen doctors. We had gone to Chicago. I mean, we had done a lot of research. We had no answers except for, we'd gone to endocrinologists, but they were offering solutions that we were not ready to take. And so the point is, we were just in a state of like, we don't know what to do. And so I remember we were in Paris. I think, have we gone to Nice yet? I don't know, but I just remember just having a breakdown where I was like, I don't even know why we're here. Like, I'm really unhappy, and I don't know why we're wasting money on this. I don't want to be here, pretty much. And I was very sad about the miscarriages, and I expressed this to him, and he listened to me. He heard me. And I do want to say one thing about him is he was very strong for me, and I realized he was being strong for me. But I wanted him to cry, and I hadn't seen him cry, and then that really bothered me. I wanted him to be just like me, but we can't have two of us just not functioning. But yeah. So anyway, the point is, I did tell him how I really, really felt, and he did something for me that I thought, or for us really, that I thought was helpful in processing. And I would like for you to describe what you decided to do.
So we went down to Nice, and Nice has this like their ocean isn't like sand; it's like stones.
Oh wow!
Like stones like this big all over the beach. Right? Wow! And the beach is called the Bay of Angels. Right? So I took her to the beach, and then I asked her to find 3 smooth stones.
That made me cry.
And so I told her that we're gonna pick 3 stones to represent the children that we lost. We're gonna have a funeral for them, because her thing was there's some people who deal with this by saying they never existed. They were never really people, right? But she clearly did not feel that way. She felt like these were her children that died, right? And because the way kind of the world is set up, when that happens, they're just discarded. That it's almost like that did never happen. And I wanted her to experience, just being able to say goodbye, like a real funeral. So we found those 3 stones and we cast them into the Bay of Angels. And I think that's the first time I realized how much I was hurting from it. So I think that was a moment where she finally saw how I really felt, because I was trying to be, tough. And I think it was a time for us to like pay honor to, like, they were like our kids, in our mind, we had 4 kids.
Yeah.
So that was I think important.
I needed them to be acknowledged. I need them to be honored and say that they were here and that they are God's children, and we're giving them back. So I think I will say that moment was, I think, the first moment where I was able to realize that, like, I'm not in control. He's in control. It's going to be okay. Regardless of what happens, it's going to be okay. And it's okay to have joy. Even though in the midst of all this is really bad, it's okay for you to smile. It's okay for you to recognize his beauty in other ways. And I think that, there's a picture of us on the beach and I'm smiling. And I think that probably was the first time I smiled that whole trip, because it was just that was really important to me. And I'm just very thankful for that moment of being able to sit with God and say thank you for the time we did have with these 3 children. So
I'm trying not to cry.
That's amazing. And y'all, I'm telling you, we're getting this real time too. Some of these stories I have not heard before. So I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just beautiful to learn more and gain more insight about the people that you do life with. But y'all, like, this is rich. I hope you are taking notes, especially if you've been in a similar situation. I feel like miscarriage is one of those things that women or people that are married don't talk about. Infertility, those are things that can be deemed as shameful. And so, again, I commend you all for sharing your story, because I know it's helping someone. It's helping me. I know it's helping someone. And so, thank you. Yeah.
Thank
just
you
for
so much for sharing and being so transparent and authentic today. I do want to ask, because I know at the time, like, me and Ryan, we were, conceiving and getting pregnant. Like, when you're going through miscarriages and struggling, like, how do you deal with those emotions when you're seeing, like, other people, like, get pregnant and have children? Because that had to have been kind of hard.
Well, well, thankfully for me, I think I was able to. I was very happy for you all. So there was never like I can't believe, it was more so just like, what's wrong with my body? But very excited for all your beautiful children, and especially Riley, because that's our goddaughter. But but I'm very excited. I mean, my y'all were having children. My friend Janica was having children. But I do think that's part of it. You're right in that you're seeing a lot of people having kids. And you're starting to say, well, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with my silly body? It's not functioning the way it's supposed to. Like, we're made to have children. Like, why isn't my body doing that thing? But I am thankful that I was able to be happy for other people.
Yeah.
But I will say, yes, there is internally you start to really just
Yeah.
down yourself and say, like, what's wrong with you?
Would you say that experience in Nice was the turning point for you all's marriage as well? Or were there other turning points or another turning point that you would attribute to, like, really helping y'all get on the same page?
I would say it was. What would you say?
Yeah, I mean, there's been other ones that have come more recently too, but yeah, I think it was important. I'm glad God gave me the idea, because I didn't know she needed that. I was more so doing it because I know I needed to do it too. So I'm glad it helped.
Beautiful.
So God blessed you with Noah. So can you share a little bit about that journey of bringing forth a child into the world?
Yeah, so that happened in 2017. 2018, the very beginning of the year, we had a marriage retreat with the Moores, Dawsonville, the Ricks. And again, I am private, but with people that I love and know, I talk. And so I remember being in that retreat crying with y'all again.
Yeah.
Like, I was
we prayed and everything.
I was in the bathroom, I was in the living room, I was ever crying again. But because we still didn't know at that point that we were going to be pregnant. And so you guys prayed for me. Sorry, prayed for me. I remember specifically Chris praying.
Yeah.
I remember specifically giving me a hug afterwards. That really meant a lot to me. So that happened in January. And then by May we were pregnant. And I do remember us talking before we got pregnant, that I was thinking like I really just was scared to try again. 'Cause I was like, I really can't.
Yeah.
I can't go through another miscarriage. I remember asking you, will you be with me if we have to go to this again? And you said yes. And yeah, so we got pregnant in May, which was amazing. Like it was very, it was just a very normal thing. Like we got pregnant and we were very excited, but also very kind of cautiously optimistic because of the past. I'm kind of scared to tell people. We did have a little bit of a scare in June. We went to New Orleans for Essence Fest, and while I was there, I started spotting.
Okay.
And historically, spotting to me or to us indicates miscarriage. And I remember us calling our gynecologist or obstetrician and telling her, and she was kind of like, once that process starts, we can't stop it.
Yeah.
She was like, I don't doesn't mean you're miscarrying, but also if it is, you cannot do anything to stop it. So, but I also remember, even though we were sad, we prayed about it, but we still enjoyed the rest of the trip.
Amen.
We went to a basketball game, had a great time.
Yeah.
It was a celebrity basketball game. It was really just Master P and his family. But it's fine. It was really fun.
Shout out to Master P. You a celebrity too, bro. You a celebrity too, bro.
He has a lot of kids. But it was fun though. We had a really good time. We genuinely enjoyed ourselves. We came back home. We went to see the doctor to check on the baby, and we prayed before we walked in. That his will be done, and the tech kind of did the whole ultrasound thing, and she was like, "Her heart is right here." Like she was kind of like, "What y'all worried about?" But
yeah,
like, she doesn't know the history. But we were just very excited that she was fine, and it was a great pregnancy. That's probably the best I've felt in a while. We had one more scare at 25 weeks. I had to stay the night over, but February 11th, 2019, Noah Gianna Grant was born, and Gianna is an offshoot of his name. But can you tell them what it means?
So so Sean, John, Giannis, like they're all the same name,
okay,
like the same root. So it was kind of like a junior. She looked just like me. So
yeah, she does, y'all.
She looked like him on the ultrasound, y'all.
I didn't believe her. She said that, and I was like, "How do you tell from an ultrasound?" She's spot on, y'all.
So it was kind of like an homage to that, and we had Noah kind of in our minds, just for a lot of reasons. But she found a verse. What was it? Numbers.
27.
The 7 daughters of, I can't remember the guy's name now, but he died without having a son, so he didn't have anybody to give his inheritance to. So the daughters petitioned Moses to say, "Can we have his inheritance?" That's never been done before.
Yeah,
and he granted it. So Noah, N-O-A, in the Bible, some versions have her as N-O-A-H too, but the one we saw said N-O-A. She was one of the first women to inherit their father's legacy. So we didn't know. We were pretty sure this was going to be our only child. So it was kind of in our mind like Noah would inherit my legacy as well. So it was a bunch of reasons, but that was where it came from.
Beautiful, unique too. I love it. I love it.
So we know, like I said, life can be challenging in marriage. Marriage brings about challenges, and you don't know what the future lies ahead of you and what kind of challenges life will bring. But I do want you all to share some joys. Like, what is something that you enjoy most about being married?
I really like being able to plan with you, and I know that sounds very not exciting, but like when we come together and we plan something, like it is really exciting. Like we really take pride in doing the research and thinking through it and making sure we dot every I and cross every T. But like it really is. I really enjoy planning with you and creating with you. It's always an adventure, I would say. So that's something I really cherish about life with you.
Yeah, I think for me is whenever I see her. She's really, really creative, right? So whenever I see her get a chance to be creative, she always surprises me how creative she is. So that's why the planning is, I think, fun, because she really gets like into it. She's really like she comes up with concepts that I wouldn't have thought of, and just me loving creativity so much that really excites me. So yeah, planning things, planning events, planning even trips. Like it's always nice to see how like creative you are, and that's what makes me happy.
I love that. I love that. Oh, y'all. Do you have any I first of all, I've just enjoyed like even just hearing the stories, but I've seen the evolution in hearing the stories, if that makes sense, about how even like with your pregnancy with Noah, how you went from a place of fear to a place of faith before she was even here physically. You know what I mean? Before you were even able to fully bring her to term, how you were just at a place of God, your will be done. Like that's huge, But any words of wisdom or advice you would give, I want to say specifically to parents or uh, families, couples, marriages that may be struggling with infertility, have experienced multiple miscarriages, and just maybe in the thick of it, even right now, any words of wisdom that you would give or advice to them?
I think the one thing that helped us and me through a lot of it was actually something I learned from you.
Oh, wow.
It was something you said. I can't remember what was going on, but you said that you should be able to imagine it working out and it not working out, and say, God, whichever one it is, I trust you. And that's really kind of what kind of helped me through those moments of being able to, like, whenever she would ask me, like, what if this happens, or what if that happens? And it's like, all I do is I just, when I'm just by myself or in the shower or whatever, I just say over and over again, I trust you, I trust you, I trust you. And I say it until it's true, because it's not true when I start, but it's like, I have to convince myself that I trust God, even if it turns out bad. And I think that's kind of what you have to get to the point of, is that even if you don't get what you want, He's still God.
Amen.
Even if we never would have had a child, He's still God. And just getting to the point where you feel peace about whatever happens, because no matter what twists and turns we experience on this life, we know the actual end of the story is eternity with Christ in heaven. So whatever mountains and valleys you have here, none of that even compares to how big of a mountain we're going to have with Him at the end, right? So if you are truly okay with that, then you can get through the ups and downs, because if that's your ultimate goal, for a fact that's true. So these doubts and unknowns on the way is nothing,
Wow. Thank you for using my words to minister. I appreciate that. Go ahead, Alfie.
I'll give more of just the practical stuff. Like, I will say, we went to an endocrinologist. She helped identify what they believe was the core issue of my miscarriages. I will say also, though, if you're going to go to an endocrinologist or any other doctor, they may say things to you that are not going to give you hope. They're going to give you stats that are going to think that it's not possible. So if you can weave through that, and just use that to know what to pray for, and realize and believe and know that God has the answer in the end. I think that's really important. I do think it's really important to have community. I mean, having all of you around us, praying for us, being able to rely on you guys, my folks back home, the Lewises, the Lums, all of them, being able to love on them and be honest with them, because I am private, but for the people that I'm not private with, I'm very, very open. So being able to have friends and family and a church community, and that's another thing. When we got married, we unfortunately had to leave our church, and so we were without a church for a long time. I was trying to check this book to figure out exactly when, but somewhere in 2017 is when we joined the church that we now are a part of.
Amen.
And that was a big part of it for me, because we were able to actually go to our pastor and our first lady and say, we are having this challenge, and they loved on us, they prayed for us, but my pastor Bell, actually challenged me and said, okay, but where is your faith? And I was like, what? And he was like, where's your faith? He's like, you need to think about how much faith you really have in the Lord in this situation. Do you really believe that you can do this?
Yeah.
And that was a real question. And it was a good question. So I do think, family, friends, and the church are vital for getting
Yeah.
through these hard times. Even if it's not miscarriage, there's other challenges that you could face that you'll need that love.
And on the marriage side, seeking counsel was really big for us. Like, we tried marriage counseling earlier on in our marriage, and it was terrible. So we kind of gave up on that.
Okay.
So a lot of the things that we would always come back and argue about and fuss about and this and that, we were kind of on our own. But going to our pastor and his wife, they helped us through a lot of things. But then she actually found a counselor that brought us into like it's her personal counselor.
I was gonna say we heard you kind of swooped in, Sean, and stole her.
It wasn't my first. It wasn't my
He
first.
stole her.
I'm just messing with y'all.
And I told her beforehand, I was like, don't do that. I was like, you need him. Do not turn on me.
Don't turn on me.
Don't turn on me.
She was like, I just love you, Sean.
Oh, wow.
But I think her kind of being able, she already knew Alfie, and then hearing my side of the story, she was able to kind of challenge each of us, and that really helped us with a few of the things that we were stuck on for a long time. So seeking a counselor, a therapist that is, first of all, you trust that they love God. You don't have to be perfect, but they love God, to kind of walk you through, be able to love both of you and say, okay, I'm seeing that this is really the problem you're having. Nobody has to be right or wrong. It's just, this is where you're stuck, and try and fix that.
Is missing. Yeah.
That helped us a lot.
Beautiful. Whew, y'all. You see, we could go on and on, but y'all have any closing, either words of wisdom or resources that you want to shout out before we close out?
Resources. Well, this isn't specific to miscarriages, but I just started reading Tony Evans' commentary, his Bible commentary.
Yes.
And I needed that. Like, I needed that. Like, the way he lays things out in the landscape and how to think about the Bible when you're reading it has been really helpful for me. I am a big podcast person. I also want to shout out Kev on Stage and Mrs. Kev on Stage.
Okay.
Marriage, I think it's Marriage Be Hard podcast. Really great sessions they have on online there. So if you have a moment, I would check those out. I think those are mine too.
Yeah, I mean, people gave us like books and things that we there was one. What was the one where it's like you had one and I had one? I can't remember the name of it, but it was like one was focused on this is how men think, and then one was
is it every woman's battle or every man's battle or what? No. Okay.
Are you talking about the one the therapist wants to get or a different one?
Yeah, what was it? I see it in my head.
I see it too. It's like it's a pink.
You could, I was gonna say either put it in the chat or let us know, and we'll put it in the chat when it come up. Okay. All right. So we have a lightning round of who's who before we close out. So 3 questions, and you gotta go with the first answer that pops in your mind, whether it's you or your spouse. All right. You want to kick us off, Toya?
Yes. Who said I love you first? Point.
You got? Are you pointing, Sean? You got to point too.
I remember.
I said lightning fast. You're like,
Uh-oh.
Oh, I love it. So both of y'all were.
Both of them
say, I
are
love you.
pointing to themselves.
That's beautiful.
What is your memory on that?
Oh Lord, we don't have time to deliberate here, y'all. We have to do that offline. So if you're listening to this, Alfie said she thinks it's her, and Sean says she thinks it's him. Okay. Question number two.
Who apologizes first?
Me.
You are missing the point of the shot. Like, you gotta answer quickly.
I'm just shocked.
You're sitting here like,
Sean is looking dumbfounded on his face.
So both of y'all still disagree. I feel like I apologize first. And Sean's like, no, I apologize first. Okay, I'm gonna do something light. Okay, who's the worst driver?
No, me.
Okay, at least I agree. Sean he was slick with it though. He was like, I'm not gonna put my wife on blast. I'm just gonna point to the side. Okay, last question here. Who's good cop when it comes to Noah? Who's good cop?
Who's good cop? It's meaning like who's the soft one?
Yes. It's your clones. I don't know. You might be a little partial. All right. So we're going to close out, y'all. But it's been amazing. If you haven't already, get your merch.
Yes.
Check us out.
Mugs, water bottles, jackets, shoes.
Yes.
all of the things, Becoming Eva Today. And as always, make sure you subscribe to our Facebook,
Yes.
follow us on Instagram, Twitter at Becoming Eva Today, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.